Riser as a pro gamer.
I imagine that like the super fit mega, like the really good but also super fit, very healthy nerds would also be early risers, like your tier lows and your show times. They'd also get up early if I had to guess. And in the meantime, let's cast some StarCraft. What do you say? In the bottom right here, from Invictus Gaming, this is Coffee.
And over here, in the top left, representing Good Game Gaming, it's Cyan.
And we're going to see some Good Game Gaming in a minute here, Zeph. Tell you what. I love that logo, by the way. It's got the Probe, cool. The Zerg, and the Terran on the Gs. Are you kidding me with this? New favorite team, hype.
That's new,
Go
right?
Cyan.
I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah, no, we've seen Good Game Gaming players in like Korean tournaments, like Lima League and stuff. But I've not seen that logo, so that's really sick.
Yeah.
New logo for sure.
Credit to the designer on that one. Very cool.
Yeah. Good work. Then we see the Invictus Gaming logo, and I'm like, ugh.
It sort of reminds me of
just kidding.
Like the information desk when you walk into like a shopping mall or something like that.
Oh, the eye, yeah. I get you. Yep. So what is she talking about? 2 minute. We got there. All right, so, very normal TVP opener so far. Cybercore before the Nexus, I guess, is the only difference. It's a little bit more safety / potential aggression from Cyan versus Coffee.
Yeah. Kind of just brace to see what this game's going to turn out like. Like, is it going to get crazy?
Yeah.
Is it actually going to be a normal macro game? Is that a thing?
Well, do you like 3-Rexes?
Look, I'm not a super fan, but I definitely do love them thrown in there here and there. Definitely very effective against Protosses. Very much in fashion.
That's right. This is one of those builds that a few of these Terrans seem to really enjoy against Protoss. Tell you what, we saw Time go 3 racks twice in these series.
Yeah.
And Coffee trying it on for size here against Cyan as well. Of course, it's not about the size of your 3 racks, it's how you use it.
Yeah, that's very true. With a nice defense, you can really minimize the damage that you take from your opponent and go about your business. However, people like doing this build because it packs such a big punch. It hits very fast. You've got a lot of units, and if your opponent doesn't have any shield batteries or anything to help defend, they can sometimes straight up lose the game.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those builds from Cyan though, where I feel like Coffee has the build order edge. It's very slight, and also Stargate people can beat 3 racks people. The depending on what comes out of Stargate, of course, like Phoenixes. Not too bad, but they're like the worst one. The Oracle has utility against the Marine. It's decent against small clusters of Marines. Also, Stasis Ward can sometimes just shut down the push completely.
Yeah.
And Cyan knows this is 3 racks now, or at least 2 racks confirmed because of the amount of Marines. And no bunker.
Yes, for sure. He is making Gate and Robo. Okay, there we go. There's a shield battery. It's like, surely there's a shield battery coming here in a second. Continuing to pump out the Phoenixes here on top of that. So Stim and Combat Shields well on the way. Plenty of time to stock up a few more units before doing the march across the map. He's getting his own NG Bay and thinking about that +1 as the transition from this point. So we'll have to wait and see how he goes as soon as he can start moving out here. Still not a lot on the ground for Cyan because of this opener.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more in the air because he's on Stargate. But the Phoenixes, obviously, when you're up against the bolus of Marines, they're not that great.
No.
The push from Coffee is coming across the map. It will hit. It's actually, he could have pushed a little bit earlier. Small criticism. Because you want to really hit when Combat Shield and Stim is done. Like, as you go up the ramp, basically. That hits as early as possible. And Cyan has, like, no units. He needs a Colossus yesterday, and he's making a second Observer.
No units and no idea, Maynard.
Cyan might just die here. He's taking a third. Okay, Cyan has misread this game, I think.
Yep. So he sees it now, and immediately those Phoenixes come back. The best he can hope to do maybe is lift those Marauders And, oh, don't get too fresh there. Good
Oh,
joke.
wow.
Not getting a third base mate, sorry.
Yeah, good news for Cyan, though, is that Coffee's not going down, up the guts. If Coffee was going into the natural immediately, I think he would have definitely won the game.
Bought him a few seconds at best. The shield battery's targeted down immediately, and it's just Phoenix's left here already. Another pylon going to go down as soon as that force field is out. There we go. He's just going to go straight forward, start finding probes.
Oh,
Phoenix
baby.
is doing their best, but he's going to do a lot of damage.
And, you know, I like my 3 racks and my TVPs, and this is when I start wiggling in my chair because I know I got it. Coffee takes game 1 there against Cyan with a 3 racks timing. And I have to be critical of Cyan. I think he's a really good player, but he completely misread the build. Did not respect the potential of that 3 racks.
Yeah, little
Go
confused
away,
there. I
Windows!
mean, I thought he'd be kind of in the know, right? We talked about the Marine numbers there. Nice. And we talked about, he had the Adepts on the front doorstep. He's poking. Usually that's your information gathering tool until you're comfortable revealing the Phoenixes. Just nothing. Nothing at all there. So, yeah, quick death for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, one of the easiest Coffee wins. I don't think one of the easiest wins that Coffee's ever had in a tournament. I think, unfortunately, which is weird to say because Cyan's such a beast. But yeah, man, he just completely misread the build. He went Stargate, which is already a bad start. But he went Phoenixes. He also was going for Robo-Bait. I'm like, oh, okay, he's heading to Colossus here to try and, help out against this push because I thought he knew it was coming. And then it just kind of showed up. And Coffee even took his time with it as well. He's like, I'm going to get the third, I'm going to get the pylon there, and then I'm going to attack the natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit of a weird game.
Yeah, strange one for Cyan. And that's why people like 3 racks, guys. Sometimes you just straight up win the video game, or at the very least do a lot of damage. And it makes it very hard to get a foot back in the door after that. But yeah, and you also pointed out, right, Coffee could have even left earlier. Didn't really matter in this case. Cyan would have just been more dead. But yeah, I don't know. Worked really well for Coffee, and not much more to say about that one. So hopefully game number 2 goes a little bit better for Cyan.
I have a feeling it will, and we'll find out together after the break. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack China Masters event. We're in the midst of our final best of 3 for the evening with Cyan versus Coffee. And my favorite morning beverage took a map off my favorite Protoss in the Chinese bracket. I don't know how to feel, Zeph. Personally, I'm conflicted.
I feel good, man. This is not really the results I was expecting because I know Cyan. Cyan's good. Very good at the video game. And he lost in swift fashions, shall we say, in game number 1, which is not really what I saw coming. It's pretty normal build to face at the moment, but didn't read it right. Whoopsie. Now he's down 1.
When Terrans are having trouble in TVP and they're like lower level, I always recommend the 3 racks because it's an easy build to pull off, and it is what I define a noob slayer. Cyan is obviously not a noob, but it's one of those builds that if your opponent doesn't scout, which a lot of noobs don't, or they don't know what they're looking at when they do scout, they will just die to it. And as you can see, even at the highest level, sometimes people as good as Cyan can misread a build. You'd be like, oh, I think this is just 2 racks, and I can hold. You know, it'll be tight, but I'll have a shield battery and I'll cut that corner. And then you're like, oh wait, the 3rd barracks. It was a 3rd barracks all along. It was that was the clincher right there. And yeah, it's just an unfortunate misread. A game that I'm sure Cyan's not proud of. Definitely more mistake on his side than anything else. But we're moving on. We're going into game 2 here. We've got a fresh new Nexus with 12 new probes and a brand new opportunity for a win. And I feel like this is the series that's going to go to game 3, not unlike our first series of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Little bit of an uncharacteristic loss, I think, for Cyan in the first one. But I'll be very impressed if Coffee takes it with 2-0. Could definitely do it. As we said, we don't know that much about him because we don't see him that often. Not super familiar. So maybe he's actually a god right now.
Maybe. Yes. Yeah, it has been a while between drinks. I get it because I haven't seen. And because coffee's a drink.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Those are the jokes that come out when it's nearly midnight. But coffee I haven't seen for years. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, and in that amount of time, especially in StarCraft, a player can just change levels to Super Saiyan. I mean, that happened to Reyna, and it felt like 1 year he was playing in DreamHack, and a couple of years later he was the world champion. Man, does not take long for some certain blessed individuals. In the bottom left here, in the red, this is Good Game Gaming's Cyan.
And over here, the Terran up 1-0. This is Coffee.
Yeah, match point here for our Invictus Gaming Terran.
That's it.
And, that SCV is quite early. It's like an engineering bay block.
Yep, ships passing in the night there. Should get a fairly good amount of building on that one.
Yeah, there's no probe in the natural because the probe was going out looking for proxies and now going for a scout. So this engineering bay is going to have a lot of hit points. This may force us Zealot out of Cyan. Almost certainly will.
Or it's going to be a while.
Yeah, Cyan's like, oh, God.
Yeah, going to have to consider maybe going up to that attack a little bit earlier if you wanted to jump the Nexus first.
It's probably just speaking his regional equivalent of why is Terran so broken?
Blizzard, please.
Blizzard, please. And it's just a Marine back at home for Coffee. So cutting the Reaper out of the equation means you can get the faster factory. And there's that Zealot. A Zealot that would never have been made otherwise. How annoying.
Got a very important job to do here. Core already finishing up. And plenty more hit points to go. Cyan's actually going to opt for the Stargate here again. So hopefully this time around it goes a little bit better for him than it did in the last one.
Yeah, I mean, this is Stargate builds definitely are great if you're really good at them. And I guess Cyan feels, as of game 1, he's like, there's nothing wrong with the build. I just messed up. And I agree. Nothing wrong with the Stargate builds in PvT. But the build order from Coffee is not a 3 racks this time, so he's got that going for him.
Definitely helps to not be assaulted by multiple fire units.
Correct. Objectively correct. The best kind of correct. All right. Now, the Hellions are going to come out here for Coffee. He's going to have a nice early game anti-gateway unit army. So small amounts of Adept, Sorkers, that sort of thing. Coffee can chase down and kill very easily, which should secure him a pretty safe natural. So we have the Oracle on the way now for Cyan. And also sent a probe out to the top left of the map, if I'm not mistaken, where Cyan, where Insano was watching it. Maybe the probe just came back home. Went out there and came back. It was a bit strange.
Just check in for anything untoward from his opponent.
Yep.
But yeah. So looking pretty usual here. He's actually going to go into Phoenixes again. Opened with the Oracle this time. See if it manages to swoop in somewhere and do some damage. At the moment, it's helping defend against Hellion though, so make short work of that. Surprise factor's kind of gone there, unfortunately.
Yeah, losing the Hellions definitely does sting. A good move there for Cyan. The only glass half full situation for the Terran is that the Oracle's not using its energy on SCVs, and it had to use energy to kill a Hellion instead. But when you're a Terran, you're not super afraid of Oracles as the other races are, because it 3-shots your workers instead of 2-shots your workers.
And yeah, as these Stargates continue to be churned out, this Adept comes in for a bit of a scout for Coffee. By the way, guys, JG vs Maxed is happening on the B stream as well, if you'd like to watch some
Sick.
PvP. That is actually a pretty good match. There's two very different styles there.
Yeah, be good fun. Be good times. Good times. So we have the Robo on the way here for Cyan as the Adept Shade keeps going forward just to have a look. He sees a ball of Marines and he's like, all right, this is multiple barracks again, but I'm not going to die to it this time, hopefully. It's sort of a roundabout 2-1-1 where you get the factory earlier. You still hit with that stim drop timing.
Stim drop with +1.
Yep. And it's not barracks, barracks, factory. It's barracks, factory, barracks.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Enormous difference. Cyan looking for some damage over at the Terran's house. Oh my goodness. Drop.
Yeah, drops a few units here to fight those Phoenixes. Stim is done. So a bit of a weird scuffle there. I mean, Cyan didn't lose anything, and Coffee lost hit points on the medevac and a few Marines. Drops the third barracks on that reactor, and now the Phoenixes can start picking up stuff. Obviously, the turret is going to zone him back, but the refinery is exposed. Rally units are exposed. Barracks production exposed. Get some units there and SCV kills. And Cyan is, I mean, as long as he can hold this part of the force, it's looking pretty good.
Can he?
Can he?
There's no shield battery done here.
What?
These are Stim Marines with +1.
Cyan sees all these Marines, doesn't make a shield battery.
Mine hit got 3 of the Adepts. No shields left on those. Now that the shield battery is finished, he's definitely got somewhere to fall back to. He just have to kite back out of that spot a little bit. He will head home.
Yep. Well, Cyan gets away with that one. It's about time to think about the next plan here for Cyan. Like, are we going to drop a third Nexus and probe up a bit more? Okay, third Nexus does get dropped, and I'm guessing probes are next around the corner, but he does need to really respect the amount of bio that's going to be out from Coffee in the next couple minutes. And now he knows tanks as well, so very common for Terran with +1 attack and 2 or 3 tanks to go across the map and pressure the third base of the Protoss, and this is where the Colossi came in, so very important for Cyan to get all those things. I'm also surprised that Cyan's not making any probes. There we go. Just started a probe just now. That's I want to say it's a mistake, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due.
And Coffee gonna march out here in just a moment with these tanks in tow, see what he can do out here. Still no third CC, right? So he's living the 2-base dream at the moment, continuing to produce tanks. There's the third CC coming down now behind this. Let's see how much damage he can get done. These Phoenixes haven't done a huge amount for him, but as long as they're alive, they still hold value. 6 Marines getting trapped in that stasis on their way over.
Which is something, but not the biggest of deals. The SCVs are still with this army, and it looks like Coffee wants to repair the tanks and also bunker push this base. Now, the Colossus this year doesn't quite have extended thermal lance, but Colossus still really nice against these Marine-heavy armies. In fact, it's enough for Coffee to rethink the attack entirely. He's loading up and just picking a different angle.
The angle looks to be right outside his own base. Just not liking what he sees. And Cyan, well on his way to extend a thermal lance. That is almost done. Charge coming in. And now his army starts to get quite formidable. And he can sort of start rounding that out with a little bit more gateway units. Continue that Colossus production. And Coffee, fairly squishy army. The tanks, obviously very helpful. But if he wants to take that third base, he might find himself under some pressure from the Protoss as well.
Yeah, the Phoenix count's starting to get pretty healthy here. About to go up to 2. I think that might be the third Colossus, actually. Templar Archives as well. We're getting ourselves a good old-fashioned macro game here, Zeph. I just wish that Cyan was making more probes. Like, normally right now, the Protoss would be on 70 probes. He's just, he's missed a few cycles. And the third's not even building anything at the moment.
Tastefully sort of sprinkling them in.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, he is pretty well saturated. It's not needed just yet because he's, I think, trying to decide if the fourth wants to go down yet or if he wants to make another cycle of units. So ignore me.
Yeah, I think a couple of earlier cycles were also missed because Coffee was pushing, right? And it's easy to miss a couple in that scenario to be like, oh, how much do I need to panic about this, or am I actually totally okay? So, yeah, he's just enjoying a nice macro time. Otherwise, Coffee now moving out to take that third base, and he's very content to sit at home. Hasn't had a whole lot of success doing any damage to Cyan in this game.
Yeah. Archon's being built here. Templar Archives not researching Storm. So it looks like he's just going to go Archons for now. I mean, it's not a bad call. The Archon's still pretty fantastic against the bio. A great frontline shield for the tanks as well. And the Phoenix is threatening the bio army. This is such an incredible Phoenix path. To fly through that needle there. Thread that needle between the tanks and the bio. Loses one Phoenix there. Unfortunately, not a good trade. Cyan knocking on the door, and Coffee has not seen it. Oh, this is so awkward. It
looked like he had. Oh, no. What's the decision here from Cyan? Obviously, the Zealots are going to keep doing damage, but I think he's trying to figure out what to do with the main bulk of his army, those Colossi and whatnot, because this Terran army is right on his front doorstep.
I think
he moved back, he moved forward with Protoss army. Protoss army is now going towards the third base.
There's no energy on this third Nexus, but the recall's too late now. He has to just go for it. And Cyan is just going to try and kill Coffee as quickly as he can, or at least do critical damage, kill as many SCVs as possible. Meanwhile, Coffee, realizing the situation and what kind of game this is turning into, is going to go straight up the guts. Oh, he killed the Disruptor. He's going to take away Disruptor production away from Cyan as well. Disruptors are so important if you're base trading Terrans, and he's not going to have any of them, Zeph. This is devastating for Cyan. I really don't like this at all. Also, consider how many Vikings are in this game, which takes away Colossus, which is the only thing that's good about Cyan's army.
Super rough. If he knew that Blink was researching there too, he might have had a chance to try and stim onto it and get rid of that. As it stands, Coffee has production in his main base continuing here, and he has a bit of a fortified position. So Cyan's come home. He's going to try and deal with this. There's some Vikings to poke at those Colossi. It makes it so difficult for the Protoss player to actually get up into their own main base without losing everything.
Yeah, Cyan's got so many workers still, but they're sort of tucked away. And Coffee's got this high ground.
Actually got it.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, I don't know how Cyan cleans up the Terran here and stops this push that's just cleaning him up from within.
Yeah. Again, just one of those weird situations where they both pass each other on the map, and then they've got to make that split-second decision. Do I attack or do I go home?
He's going in. He's going for it. Targeting down the Vikings with the Stalker's Guardian Shield initiated. Colossi doing their best from the backside. The tanks target firing down the Colossi. Prism Micro here from Cyan. Maybe enough. Oh my god, Cyan crushes this. What?
Unreal.
Prism
that was
Micro,
sick
baby.
From Cyan.
That Prism Micro saved him. He being able to keep those Colossi alive, getting as much value out of them as possible. The Archons are still alive. They're all one shot. One Archon finally dies. And this one tank could actually kill the Colossus quite quickly. It does kill one. Blink forward there from the Protoss to get rid of the Viking. Going for the tank now as well. Medevac cycling back. Coffee being indecisive with the Medevacs. Do I hit the main? Do I go home? What do I do? And somehow, some way, Cyan holds.
Oh, the Colossus.
Ooh.
Oh. He wants it so badly, and he loses a Medevac for that too.
Are you kidding me? Every Terran sees that one-shot Colossus and throws away 20 army supply trying to get it while charge lots kill you. It's just part of being Terran, Zeph. You'll know. You'll understand when you play more Terran.
Why are you gonna shade me in the middle of a match, man? But yeah, so Coffee's gonna reposition this third base. It was getting whacked by something, and I just don't think he had anything to respond to that threat. Cyan,
he's still got 2 Nexus.
Has a lot more mining. Not sure how much production he actually has left to make use of it, though.
Yeah. Can we get a structures tab, please, production? Just have a look at the structures tab. 1 gateway, Zeph. And a robo bay with no robotics facility. A sad combo.
Yeah. imagine if he had more gates left over, he might actually be able to do something here. But as it stands, like you can't move in with one warp in as your reinforcement. So, and Coffee has a fair amount left. He has a tank and a lot of beefy marauders, and that's actually enough against a force that small of just gateway units. So, Coffee's starting to, I was going to say, make workers again, but he's also missing a couple of cycles here and there. He's just making them now.
Yeah.
Cyan?
I think he's just trying to make sure his two bases are saturated and safe. Because taking a third is pretty risky. And as Cyan's got some kind of army out there, and he's probably got a pretty good idea that the Protoss is crippled, but he doesn't know how bad. He doesn't know about that, I guess the, what do you call it, the 6 o'clock location? Like, he doesn't know if there's anything there at the moment. Like, he cleaned through it. He got it at the initial start of the game, but he doesn't know if probes have gone over there and retaken it, or dropped pylons there, or if there's any gateways there. He you know, it's a tough call to move out and expand at this point.
And just as you say that, he is pathing an SCV around this spot, so you'll see that he's actually going to try and retake that 4th base now. And Cyan, he's rebuilt his production structures. He's getting another robo here, and he's moving into some more Templar. Coffee also, you know, he actually has a pretty big army.
The SCV comes down to confirm all those things. He's like, is there anything there? Not really. Scans, sees the army. Sees the Protoss' army is actually a little underwhelming. Might flirt with the idea of actually expanding all of a sudden, and there we go. As I say that, the third lifts up, moves over.
Ooh, and right on cue, Cyan's like, no, I don't want you to have that. He's going to move out here.
Oh, I don't know,
Got to
Cyan.
be careful.
There's a lot of boom in this army.
Well, if Coffee's not sieged, though, he's pulling the boys.
Yeah, the boys being pulled into Archons and Colossi, though. So, okay, the SCVs are now dead.
Cool.
Cool.
Definitely worked out how you planned it.
Boy, am I glad
100%.
we put 16 SCVs into this push, Coffee. All right.
That's just poor timing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the shield battery fight now, so the Protoss is in the strongest position possible. Again, in all seriousness, still a lot of boom from the Terran. A ton of firepower here. 4 tanks, medevac support, and a lot of marauders. So the Colossi really need to be careful here.
Oh, Disruptor, though.
Disruptor from downtown. Tucker Fire goes down. Oh, this choke point. Man,
so
Cyan.
nasty for him to attack into.
Yeah, Cyan's going down this tiny little choke point between the terrains here. And that is a dream scenario for the Terran. Having a concave at the end of a choke point and you're attacking into it. Coffee says, yes, please. All day, every day. Thank you, Cyan.
Oh, huge for Coffee. He's taking a really good engagement here. Does he have enough to keep pressing forward? He's still rallying the one Colossus, trying its best, but the shield batteries can't keep it alive. The warp in, not successful either. And that is it. Coffee gonna take a 2-0 over Cyan, our favorite for this one.
Bro.
Oh my goodness.
Either Coffee got real good or Cyan's having a bit of an off day, because this is a result that I did not expect. An insane game from both of them. Like, obviously a bit dirty and a bit back and forth, and definitely a bit of a mud wrestle for game 2, but entertaining, no doubt. And congratulations, Coffee. Like, Coffee is just on the precipice of winning the game here. Like, Cyan's just desperately trying to hold on, but he just doesn't have the numbers, chat. GG.
Wow.
Coffee